Well, incorrect. A couple of game fives yesterday. They got a tough task today. Can Gen.G regain? Fellas, let's take it to the pitch. See what's up.
Let's take it to the pitch. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Hootie Who. Incorrect versus Gen.G. Pretty much set it all up in Spaceman yesterday when I was in the egg stands with everybody else. I was listening to the Gen.G stream with Illusion. Illusion was giving his commentary over what was going on with Gen.G, and a repeated commentary that was coming up with this team was sometimes they just try to force things that aren't working. Sure. And want to play their way, want to play their game, but he kept saying he wanted to see his team just try to not own goal. Now they didn't. that would be on incorrect here. But hey, what a start here for Chronic.
This is such a stupid goal. Chronic kind of just throws it north to the net, and everybody else helps out. So Jordan, you wanted to see Chronic, kind of execute. All right. That's already how we're getting things going. But you do bring up a good point again, and shout out to Illusion once more. This is a team that they do like to overcomplicate at times. And that's really why I think the pickup of first killer to start the season was so impressive and was really needed. We're like, all right, you get yourself a player like a beast mode who doesn't have to overcomplicate. You can kind of take the ball from the sidewall, from the ceiling, from the midfield, and go nuts, break open the offense. That's what we want to see from Gen.G. I hope they show it here today. Did not have a good showing yesterday, but against Incorrect, a more formidable opponent they should be able to handle.
And I mean, just to complete what Illusion was saying as well, is like, look, if they're playing aggressive against you, just let them play the 50 back. Try to get the 50s to teammates. Don't worry about always trying to push the ball, driving the ball forward, trying to out-mechanic the other team, overpassing. Sometimes simpler is better. Incorrect. A couple times yesterday in almost every series that they played, they went down early and then had to fight back in multiple series to get back to game 5. First killer almost hitting a double tap here with the demo through the smoke. Chronic picks up 2 goals for Gen.G.
Yeah, that backboard's going to be a problem. If you're not able to isolate first killer or at least get up for the challenge, Wanda might try, just not the spacing that he maybe would have liked on the initial jump. That's okay. Still going to be a threat regardless. We talk about it offensively for Incorrect. They're going to have to keep the pace up on the defensive side of the ball for Gen.G. Same thing on the opposite end. When it comes to the backboard clears, they have to be present and always cognizant of where first killer's at on the field. But when we look at Incorrect overall, like this is a team that moved through the open qualifiers to qualify for this event. They're taking out really solid competition in Cloud9, NRG, Peeps, who again was AJ Mist in Gyro. So it's not like they walked their way here. They had to fight against some really, really solid teams. So they clearly know what they're doing. Just comes down to, again, executing against maybe a team step above you. So far, answering the call defensively, but down 2 goals. Like to see their offense start to spread out a little bit more.
Those are teams they've routinely struggled against in open qualifiers in RLCS as well. But they're currently struggling against one of the best teams in North America. They simply cannot get a handle on the ball. No boost for Toasty. He side flipped off the ball. Wonder Mike, I believe, called him off there. I think that was intentional from Toasty because Wonder Mike had a better angle, but Chronic was already on the ball. So the call off, while I understand Wonder Mike going for that, I think Toasty might have been able to pop that up and away from him. It still would have been a delicate situation. They didn't have a lot of boosts. It's pouring right now here for Gen.G.
Close. These are just warm-up shots for Chronic and the likes of first killer. They're going to take that all day, every day as the series goes on. Likely they will start to hit more of those angles, but always nice to see Wanda Mike and Toasty back in the swing of things and more of an RLCS style tournament. But again, for this team, really slowing down the offense of Gen.G is the #1 priority. It sounds very simple, but the dimensions of Gen.G's offense become more apparent the more shots they take, the more opportunities they're given, the more they score, the more ways they find to beat you. So for Incorrect, a lot of this comes down to just holding possession, right? They've been bullied on the back line. They've had trouble clearing the ball downfield. One of the first times we started to see a counterattack really form. Try to keep the offense up, focus on the boost management, and start getting a little physical, bumping players off the play. That's what they need to start doing in game 1.
And Wonder Mike, he had pulled out wide to go get a corner boost. It wasn't there. Ball was still contested in the midfield. By the time he gets the other corner boost, Chronic has possession and he has to play hurry up. And we're unable to get the midfield grab there. I mean, even there, Incorrect feeling like they got to hop the route quick. Their second man follows up quickly, but that does mean you have less resources on the back end. Apparently, Jack, not a powerful redirect and off target as well.
Yeah, a little too indecisive for my liking on the challenge. And then when they get countered, there's only one backflip's going to get bumped. I mean, this is just clear cut all day, every day going to be a shot, if not a goal. Won the mic, beat around the 50. Apparently, Jack wins another. Like you said, Jorby has the boost to make this viable. Comes in for the follow-up, uses his flip to get the bump on the goal line. It's that indecisiveness at the midfield that is tough when you're rotating with a team, but when you're having to play catch up on your own backline to get back into the play and you're a man down, you're going to get burned every time. It's 4-0. Gen.G kind of walking through game one. Oh my God.
Oh,
how is that not safe?
Why is Chronic at the driving range? And I guess Incorrect are just giving them all their golf balls here. But Toasty unable to get to the ball. Toasty has 74 points, dude. That is not going to get it done.
Unfortunately for them, they just haven't had much to work with, and that, of course, is credit to Gen.G's offense. Everything I said about what Incorrect need to do, Gen.G have done. Granted, game's not over. A bit of time to work with. Will be a tough mountain to climb, but
game's not over.
Kickoff. It's a
it's
solid
not
kickoff
over.
For me. No, it's not.
What happened? What happened to? Was that first killer who just missed the ball on the kickoff?
It's okay. They got a 4-goal lead.
Why was he on the side of the ball like that? I'm not. Don't worry, first killer. I'm not reading too far into it, dude. It's okay. Hey, Flitz, you got something? He does not, but it looks like he might. Not enough boost. Apparently, Jack challenged on the back. He's not worried about it. 5-1. This is how Gen.G wanted to start. Strong. You don't give up any nonsense gimme goals. You're not lazily rotating wide on the midfield with nobody covering the net. A very solid, clean game from Gen.G, which is all you can really ask for. Sans one first killer in garbage time, and yes, garbage time at 140 when you're up 5-0.
Yeah, it's garbage time.
Unless Flitz missed it by a pixel, but I think that pixel probably doesn't put it on target. Very solid start here for Gen.G, though.
Yeah, this Gen.G offense, the one we're seeing right now, the one that fans have come to love and routinely expect, this is the offense that works when they have a lead to kind of get creative with, right? It's just oftentimes we're waiting for Gen.G's offense to look like this when they're either down a goal or two or they're tied and really struggling to find that rhythm at the midfield. So this is totally fine. They look comfortable. They're trying new things out. Chronic and first killer went for a pinch. Blitz going to just try to extend this as long as possible, but doesn't really matter. This is all formalities. Quality save from Wondamike. 19 to go. 5-1. A really strong showing in game one from Gen.G.
I mean, look, Chronic has 4 goals. First killer has 3 assists. That makeup right there is when almost every Gen.G win, I feel like, has a plethora of first killer assists, and Chronic is scoring the goals. When he's scoring, Gen.G are winning, and game 1 was easy for them. Game number 2, we'll see if Incorrect can right the ship.
You know, if we do have to sift through some of this game 1, it was a bit of a wash, but that's credit to Gen.G. However, we can talk about the challenge game from Incorrect and how much space that gave Gen.G to operate. I mean, we can look at it from the kickoffs. We could look at it from one of the waning drives at the end of this game. Apparently, Jack threw the ball off the sidewall. I believe Flitz grabbed the midfield boost, went up on the sidewall to meet the challenge, and just watched it fly by. You even look back prior to, I believe, the 3rd goal that was led because of that indecisive challenge at the midfield. Incorrect giving Gen.G a lot of space. These are the small things that even for a younger team playing a team that's, you know, clearly a couple of steps above them, their challenges matter not just for being on ball, but for also taking away what space the offense on the other side has to work with. And that's just something Incorrect couldn't do. So going into game 2, I would really like to see them focus. Yes, their aggression needs to be a little bit better, but really focus on clearly there needs to be a physical representation of the communication they have in comms to what we're seeing on screen. Too many times, Jory Word felt like they're just not on the same page of when they want to challenge or where they want to go in space. And because of that, Gen.G's like, dude, we're just going to start ripping shots. And it worked.
Yeah, they really didn't have to try too hard on that. Incorrect were giving them a lot of space themselves. It does surprise me at the start today because Incorrect did get a lot of reps in with Toasty yesterday, but where we see a lot of the tie-ups were between Flitz and Wondamike. And they got to figure each other out here if they're feeling some sort of discomfort. Like you said, you got to talk it out. You can't stay silent on it. And you start off nice with the kickoff win. Wondamike gets it on the cheat up, pops it with the left side with a flick.
There's the young one stepping up. Look at Wondamike go. Able to skirt through 2 in a 1v1 situation. Not going to miss it. Nicely done off the kickoff, establishing some nice rhythm to start game 2. And look, what a better way to get things going than to open up with a goal. You down 5-0, 5-1 to end game 1. It looks pretty dire. Come right back out of the gates. Nice shot, nice goal. Nicely done.
Wondamike having to avoid a bump that put him in an awkward angle and forced to clear it out to the midfield line, where apparently Jack just drills it back to the top of the box. See what it does. Wondamike first on the ball,
man.
had to clear it, and a huge gap And I honestly didn't think there was a gap at first, but Wonder Mike, no boost. He clears it out. Flitz runs out. Toasty's still rotating out. First killer tried to bump him. Actually forced Toasty to wrap around, and I think that is the only thing that took him out of position.
Yeah, they ran into each other. A little love tap. You know, sometimes you got to high five your teammate. It's like when you're playing Little League and like you stop running the bases to go high five your friend on the other team. That's what happened, but it was on your team, so it doesn't
That
work
happened
out.
to me once in
Dude, it was so fun doing it. It was
Yeah,
so great. So they told us that you can't do that and then ruin the fun. But listen, don't run into your teammates. Rotating, again, like in space, especially when it comes to pathing back defensively, going to be a priority. But the good thing right now for Incorrect is they start off with a goal. You can afford a mistake here or there. Now, how do they keep the pressure at the midfield as their second man works through space? Decent pass over the Flitz. Got to keep the pressure moving.
Wonder Mike at full speed. Didn't want to take the 50. Or just thought that ball was going to be played up. Either way, he tried to move at max speed. Gen.G are happy for it. Let you drive at max speed at the ball, and they'll just win the touch. First killer was only playing Flitz's touch there. And slows down one. A good bump on Chronic, but apparently Jack already saw it coming. Puts another shot up. And Wonder Mike maybe can finally pressure Chronic. He does. Dropped it back to Toasty. Chronic falls back down onto it. Just when something was starting to develop, they need to work a little bit harder. First killer diving across, stops Wonder Mike's shot, and a big clear down the way. But apparently Jack still got to get there. Cleared for Gen.G.
Really steady patience defensively from Gen.G. They're trusting Chronic on a lot of the midfield challenges, even when it comes to tracking back with that first offensive player. They're not wasting a lot of boosts getting up and meeting the challenge. They're allowing some space for Incorrect to move downfield, to take a couple of angles towards the corners that they want. Quality drop down. First killer can't make the read. That's okay. Chronic sends it towards the corner. But defensively, Gen.G look very, very comfortable, very resilient. They're not working overtime to clear this ball. They're just taking their chances where they find it.
Well, he left the ball on the flip reset to try to get a clean touch out to a teammate. But both First Killer and Chronic were still setting up. Well, they're not really pressed about it at all, even getting bumped. They're still getting back to the touch. They have complete control of the midfield right now. Even that one cleared out into space. And that's the first chance they got. First Killer's going at the side. Toasty, easy shot. And First Killer on the side, just slightly out of position is what helps them break through.
And the first time, really, we see Gen.G commit upfield, all three members up. All right, take your chance, get a decent clear from Wonder Mike, move it downfield, Toasty plays it off the side wall, and you just play the counterattack there. The numbers work out in your favor. It's a pretty open net for you to shoot at. You take advantage of the space you're given, and nicely done converting on the other end from Incorrect, weathering the offensive storm, and converting on the other side.
Blitz is already downfield after that win. First Killer right behind him. Reads Wonder Mike's pinch. Incorrect. The story continues for them this league play. They do get scored in multi-goal games. A couple teams scored a 5 spot on them yesterday, but they always responded, made a close game of the next one. Even if they didn't win that game, it was always a 1-goal game. First Killer up high. He doesn't have a lot of boost to adjust, and Wonder Mike was ready for it. Incorrect had to commit multiple layers.
That's a nice job by Wonder Mike. I was a little worried about Flitz and Toasty upfield. It looked like they were kind of scrambling through the rotation, getting caught, more interested in the challenge than maybe positioning defensively, but First Killer didn't really have the space to work with. Shout out Wonder Mike defensively. Toasty able to poke it free. Short back in. Both teams more than comfortable than sending 2 players up into the goal line, looking for bumps, looking for a little bit of space where they might be able to thread a pass. Neither have been successful, but I do like what we're seeing. First Killer, dead center. Wonder Mike keeps it out.
Another third man stop for Wonder Mike. Gets deleted for his effort. Toasty hoping for 12 more, but he got no more. And the pass was deflected. Wow. Wonder Mike gets there. Another save. That's 4 for him. Wonder Mike again. That one doesn't register as a shot, but no doubt prevented some heat. Headed towards his box, and Toasty, with no boost left, still can't get the ball away from Jack. Flitzes the ball's over his head. He loses his boost. First Killer calls him off. 2 touches out, but Chronic was leaving to go get boost. Apparently Jack needs to go in, and no one from Incorrect can actually get back to this ball. Flitz is missing it. Wonder Mike barely has anything in the tank. Chronic is running all over him. Toasty still can't get a boost. Flitz has nothing. Big pass. Give and go. Can't put it on target, or did put it on target, but can't put it up high. Wonder Mike easy save.
Yeah, somebody needed to help Wonder Mike. That man has been working on 20 boosts on 3, 4, 5 different saves. Finally, some help does come in. The cavalry crashes. Flitz able to get some midfield grabs, but again, the defense from Incorrect working on low boost has been really impressive. A bit scrambly, but they've kept the ball out. Still down by 1 with under 20 to go. One of Mike working off the backboard. How far can he get this one? Right back into the hands of Chronic. Flitz looking for the clear. Will find it. What can Incorrect do downfield?
Well, Appjack and First Killer bumped into each other. That's why Appjack has no boost right now. He had to reposition immediately for the ball. He couldn't go for the boost, and it was on the rotation back that killed them. I'm not sure if it was on the stream cam or not on my own player cam at the moment, but no 0-second goal, and Incorrect will tie the series.
You know, a much, much better game from Incorrect, even just defensively. I think that's the big standout in game 2. Granted, one to Mike's really the reason why. 5 saves for a reason, 683. He's playing the boost off the backboard, or should say, excuse me, the ball off the backboard. Low boost consistently. He was taking challenges from First Killer. He was watching the corner grabs from apparently Jack, who was rotating a little bit late. He was watching Chronic kind of set up in space. One to Mike is the reason this is a 1-goal game for the majority of that last stretch. But again, this is a squad that just needs a little bit more help sometimes because they were getting pushed back. They were turtling. One to Mike's doing all he can. Blitz and Toasty are taking some challenges in that offensive third, but they're not able to get possession. They're not clearing, and they were low on boost, Jorby. They were just running out of resources, and when you don't have boost, you can't clear the ball, and Gen.G are going to clamp down, and they did, but there were still positives here for Incorrect. Defensively looked really good. Just came down to really holding possession on the other side.
I think you do make a great point about third man on Incorrect, though, getting a lot of pressure, and it did result in them losing a lot of their boost when first and second man aren't getting solid challenges on the ball or just straight up missing the ball and trying to force the attacker into a singular direction. One to Mike was having to make too many saves. They weren't able to get any boost. Gen.G got to do what they want there. Point is, though, it held this time, but it is something to note for Gen.G in this game. If you can keep getting by Flitz and Toasty, then you can probably commit more on those demos. I know that Gen.G were trying, but you can't stop, especially if you got them starting to get starved on low boost. Incorrect held them to a low scoring game after Gen.G put on that 5 spot. Now they'll try to continue the journey, maybe keep it low scoring. One to Mike has a 1v1 the other way. Chronic and One to Mike meet in the air. Chronic easy tap up. Toasty trying to get in the way as well. Incorrect trying a couple different ways to break through that Gen.G defense.
Yeah, I like this pressure from the corner early on as well. We saw it even though it was an opening kickoff goal in game 2 for Incorrect, but kind of hitting back to what this team can do well, which is taking boost away from Gen.G when they're on defense. Need to see a little bit more of that. And unfortunately, again, winning battles, winning challenges from the elbow in that offensive third, if you're First Killer, if you're Chronic, that's where you're going to make most of your money in this matchup. First Killer just recenters under it perfectly, tracks it down. Defense gives him all he needs, and they will strike first early on in game 3.
I mean, it's just another simple double commit. Flitz and Toasty go for the same ball. Either one of them sit, really. I think Flitz should have been the one sitting. Toasty was already in position, but Flitz jumps for the ball regardless. And he would have been able to respond to that First Killer shot, but the discipline breaks down. And now you're playing from a deficit again. First Killer on the launch, fakes that high touch. Doesn't matter though, One to Mike calls him on it. And Flitz has to hold and wait for his team to get set. Maybe create something here. First Killer shakes that ball out and just keeps One to Mike out.
I like this chase from One to Mike. Again, it's just allowing more space at the midfield for Flitz to kind of shadow and watch and wait for him to be an errant touch, a bad rebound. It's a bit open, great bump as well. And you play great defensive games on the other side from One to Mike. You need somebody to bail you out, and then he cashes in on the opposite end, able to put it through for the tie game.
Yeah, Flitz getting that one back with the bump. Very simple. You just win that midfield battle. You talk about both teams being very willing to send first and second man, spaceman, and to, whether it's trying to find a bump or being an outlet for the push downfield. There's a lot of pressure but trust put on pro team's third men because it's so hard to break through defenses now. You have to commit to almost at all times when you are on the offensive end. You put a little bit more pressure on your third man to be able to hold that down. That does open them up for potential bumps if you're not careful. Happens that time. Here's a demo from First Killer, but again, you're not winning that touch. Apparently, Jack, without a lot of boost, has to buy time. That's as much as he can get.
Oh, poor Toasty. He thought maybe that was going to lead to maybe just a recenter, but unfortunately, it gets right back to him. He gets some boost to help out, so they'll trade that. One demo from First Killer, and that should be a shot. It will be. Actually, just hits the post. Here comes the second. Apparently, Jack will find the second goal. And again, kind of war of attrition right on the other side. It's just going to be Gen.G taking shot after shot when you're on low boost and you can't clear the ball. And you see this.
Yeah, Toasty couldn't get back to it with Wonder Mike, sees the rebound coming, doesn't check to see where apparently Jack is, but he knows he's nearby, so play the ball, and he played it right into his nose. I mean, that's an apparently Jack special right there. Yeah, he sees you right there. He knows he's got you dead. He knows that you're gonna give that ball up to him. Chronic, here he goes, got the reset, forced it up high. The layer's good for now for Incorrect. But it does feel like what we saw at the end of game 2, despite Incorrect winning that game, continues on here in game 3, Spaceman, which is Incorrect getting starved out, unable to maintain discipline, and barely able to make these saves.
The only blemish you can really put on Incorrect's record at the moment on their challenge game has just been they are very direct to the ball once they realize that Gen.G are closing in on space. So it kind of limits the different angles they can approach on challenges. It limits the ways that they can maybe start to fight on possession against First Killer if he's playing from the midfield into the corner, if he's popping the ball towards the backboard. It just seems like sometimes Incorrect are kind of spearheading their way directly at the ball, maybe rather than pathing into it, trying to cut down some opportunities for Gen.G. Again, just something small. It hasn't affected them too much, but it does lead to some predictable pops where Gen.G are like, oh, this space, this angle is now open because you just took the challenge head on. Okay, bet. I'm going to now throw a shot up and we'll see what happens. First Killer with a full tank and send it right back through the midfield. So looking to see what Incorrect can do in the latter half of this game.
So many demos, but Incorrect are still getting back to the ball. Just barely. Chronic drops it down. Flitz tried the early challenge. First Killer just flings it from a slingshot. And, I mean, easy does it. How many smoke screens do they throw up? Flitz is hoping he can drop it. But everyone else recovering. And look, Toasty and Wonder Mike running into each other. I don't know if Wonder Mike got bumped initially there by Gen.G, and it was a golden ball situation. I came in on that one late looking for Flitz cam, but a lot of orange cars bumping into each other, challenging the same ball in this series.
Yeah, Chronic just has so much space, man. Like, if he decides he wants to play up the ceiling or, you know, send a small missile off the backboard, maybe recenter and give it to First Killer on the ground, he can do that. There really hasn't been too much challenge game from Incorrect at the midfield, which is why, again, Chronic's now up early.
There he is.
He'll get the double tap right over the head of the lone defender, 4-1, and a bit of a victory lap here in the start of the series.
I mean, you called it. This has been happening all game, and then right after you say it, of course, he slaps the ball out from the midfield line. Easy double tap. How many clean touches have Gen.G gotten from the midfield this line? At least 20.
Yeah, it's tough to beat any team.
I don't even think I'm exaggerating there.
No, well, I mean, even if we go back to game 1, I mean, the first couple of shots that Gen.G were attempting, it was just, okay, we're going to pop it at the midfield. And again, the challenge game was more of a problem in game 1. That's a great reset from Wonder Mike. Able to shut things up quickly. 50 on the clock. Still doable. Going to be tough, but Wonder Mike flies out from his own side of the field. Uses the reset. Oh, that's pretty.
At pace, too. It's fine. Close to supersonic when he went for that ball. Played it to the ceiling. Best way to stay with the ball and at that kind of speed, but to get the catch and the power on the reset there. Impressive, Wonder Mike. Is it enough for Incorrect? We'll see. Toasty with the full challenge. He got all of it. How about that? Chronic diving back, but a really good setup there from Incorrect. They have Gen.G starts a little bit. Hard pass to Flitz. Hard shot. Oh, that's a banger.
Their spacing on the last 20 seconds has been just excellent. They look so decisive. They look like they absolutely know where each touch is going, where they want to set up. There's an urgency to this offense that has kicked in out of nowhere. Wonder Mike, they needed somebody to kind of step up and reignite the offense here. Finally, we get it. A lot of time on the clock to play with, and an open backline that they can take advantage of.
See what they can do. Wonder Mike turns. Toasty went to go get boosts. He's right back into position. Flitz on the far side. He's on small pad duty. Toasty just flings it at Chronic, and that ain't going to get it done. He can waste time. The 50, but First Killer's there. Too many layers available for Gen.G. No waste the rest of the time off this clock. Incorrect. We'll need to go hero mode here at 0 seconds. Reset will bob it up just a tad. Nobody around for this one. That should be a GG. Yes, sir. Thank you. Another 5 spot for Gen.G.
You know, the last 30 seconds of this game were really indicative of the things Incorrect do well. Why they found success in the open quals, why they were able to bounce back after many reps yesterday. A situation where if they were able to employ that kind of urgency, that kind of decisive spacing early on in this series, maybe the series still goes to Gen.G, but it certainly would have been a little bit closer. This was a team that, again, still has a lot going for them. Fortunately, they'll drop here, but a lot better of a showing in the final 30, not just because they were scoring. I hope that they can continue that same cadence moving forward in this tournament. Gen.G, however, I mean, they could have won this series at least alone on chronic spacing at the midfield. The dude was never challenged. He rarely had to take a shot he was uncomfortable with. The amount of times he instead elected to leave off and give apparently Jack or First Killer sole possession of the play was exactly why you want him on your team and why Gen.G at their base can excel so well. So this was just a good showing from Gen.G.
What had not been hard for Gen.G were just baiting incorrect in with their first touches. They would bait them in on a high touch. They would make them go vertical. I mean, Flitz would just immediately go at everything. And Gen.G knew it. Gen.G knew if I catch this ball in the midfield, in the air, my first touch, Flitz is going to jump for it. And what's he going to think I'm going to do? Push it forward. Well, what do they do instead? Push it upwards. They're forcing Incorrect to use all of their boost. Flitz, almost every time he jumped, he was already jumping from a disadvantage. So he couldn't even get up to the challenge to force it. And then it was a snowball effect from there, right? We saw Wonder Mike, third man, having to pick up those pieces. And what really killed it for me, for Incorrect, and what really kills it for me, for them in this series, is are the double commits. I mean, the communication, like at a basic foundational day one level, you cannot be running into each other. Like that stuff has to be ironed out in this series, and you're simply not going to have any fun against this team if you keep messing up the basics on rotational discipline. That has to be the number one fix. Gen.G they're full comfort. Like I don't think Gen.G are trying to do anything too difficult. I think they know how easy it is to bait Incorrect in and then just punish them. Like Incorrect are starving themselves right now by trying to play too fast. They're reading themselves into a hole rather than actually watching what's happening on the pitch in front of them and reacting to how Gen.G are moving the ball. They're trying to play faster than them, but you're not, and it's not working. So Incorrect have to find a new way forward.
Yeah, you know, this is a team that, again, like for Gen.G, it feels like their floor has always been really, really solid. But it just came down to consistencies, you know, and we'll see if they can keep that at the forefront of this squad moving forward. I think I probably just had an aneurysm, and we're still keeping this series moving. I apologize for the miscue. It's currently 2-1 to Gen.G, and yeah, you know, this is just a squad that we expected a lot from Gen.G going into this tournament, so it's nice to see that they've kind of worked out, at least early on, some of maybe the offensive issues we saw Chrome talking about earlier. But to get back to what you were talking about, Jorby, about Incorrect and a lot of their double commits, like that challenge game with the midfield, the double commits, especially defensively, like that was the big Achilles heel for them in games 2 and 3. If they clean that up, you work from there. Everything else gets a little bit easier, but you can't really shoot yourself in the foot.
I mean, the offense looks pretty decent, too. That was a decent pass. Gen.G just have good coverage. When they get to the offensive half, they have the pressure. Incorrect look good. But like a lot of teams that aren't at the top, defense and defensive discipline is a big struggle for many teams. We're watching Fun go through something similar. We watched Snowmen during the RLCS season go through a very similar thing after their top 4 placement. Like, so defense becomes a lot harder the higher up you get. Offense is something that teams can definitely figure out. Staying on offense, having that defensive discipline. We're doing it right now. Toasty could not quite beat Chronic to the ball. He's been reliable in that third spot and reliable hanging on to the ball here against Incorrect.
And now he just has to track back, and that's the tough part. Amazing save from Wonder Mike, and keeps it out. If this kid isn't playing lights out defense in this series, again, things look a little bit more dangerous, and Gen.G probably feeling very comfortable to continue to send the house, but Wonder Mike stepping up massively on the defensive end. And just like on that last rotation, I mean, you try to fly out, win the foot race to the corner, you don't get it, then you have to backtrack all the way across the field. It's so much space for Gen.G to execute on. Now, how do you make them get punished for it? Wonder Mike says, I'm going to slot it, and make sure Gen.G remember this.
Now hop into the cuddle puddle here on the blue half. We got 1 orange car, 3 blue cars. First Killer and Chronic, they're there first at the party, front row seats. Chronic gets kicked out, though. And that goal's going straight into his net. Nice work. Not all day that you see 3 players sitting in the box and the ball getting through all 3 of them. That's exactly what you just witnessed here.
It's not every day you see all of Gen.G in the net and a lot of space in the midfield for an open shot from Wonder Mike. I mean, it's a complete change of form here in Game 4. But maybe a sign of things to come. You keep this confidence moving. And like the end of Game 3, where the last 30 seconds just really poised, really great urgency offensively from the offensive Incorrect. Has to be the same situation into this game. So far, it looked excellent. Defense has stood strong. Pass to apparently Jack. Immediate challenge by Toasty. Here comes first killer. We all expect it.
Jeez.
Diving save from everybody, but it doesn't up.
The whole reason Gen.G got this possession is because Flitz and Wonder Mike had double committed on the clear way before Gen.G got that ball. Then Wonder Mike was off. Toasty was like, well, I can't go forward on this because both my teammates are downfield and we don't have possession. And then they go back, and what happens? Flitz and Toasty double commit. Now here you go. That's the type of double commit I like to see. You get the demo, you put it in, Incorrect, get a good offensive drive here. They get the bump. The physical game is working. It's pulling Gen.G off their path. Doesn't matter how you look on defense if you can just keep them off on offense.
It's just really good communication. Flitz took the first challenge, one of my parked bus on the sidewall, and said, all right, if this pops out of me, I'm coming right through, playing it low and looking for a bump demo. He gets it. That's the communication, the Incorrect need in transition when the offense is starting to flow to capitalize on a defensive mistake from Gen.G. And it wasn't really a mistake from Gen.G. Just look, there's an opportunity here. Capitalize on it. Diving save. The demo keeps this one out. Still, though, Incorrect look way more comfortable past the midfield line than they have in the start of this series, and it's paying off.
They're connecting on the bumps finally. And it is throwing Gen.G off their rhythm a bit. First killer. Tried to feather that touch. You just missed it, but he's got a great touch here. He's got everyone else jumping from behind, but they win a massive 50 into the net. Wonder Mike uses his undercarriage as a tee.
All right, first killer juggling. And yeah, no, Wonder Mike just straight up challenged. Okay, so a little reminiscent of the prior game. Wonder Mike from his own backboard takes all the way upfield, gets the reset over first killer in net. This time, decides to challenge at the midfield. And it's kind of amazing what happens when your challenges at midfield are a little bit more confident, a little bit more clean, what that can lead to, whether or not it's a free shot, whether or not it's a great ricochet. Just having a presence at the midfield, Jorby, is so important to slow down a top-tier offense like Gen.G. We've seen it from better teams than Incorrect, and now the Incorrect are executing. Look at the lead, 3-0 with a minute to go. This is the best they've looked all series.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great call from Wonder Mike to see first killer threaten that touch towards the backboard and think, no, he's got that reset. You also got your two teammates back right, so you use that information to your advantage. You make the correct play, and look what happens. You're up 3-0, and even though you're struggling a little bit here on defense, there's not a ton of time left. Flitz expends the tank, clears it out downfield. Wonder Mike sitting underneath, Toasty in the corner. And this is looking great for Incorrect. You're still seeing a lot of the same issues out of them. Big difference, though, connecting on the physical game. It's not that Incorrect weren't going for it before. They were trying to bump Gen.G before. And they were warping them some of the time in the previous games, but not as effectively as they did in the first half of this game to get out to this lead. This was a really, really great run. Toasty holds down in the third man challenge. Flitz fakes the upper challenge, gets the boost, and that should do it here for game number 4.
And this is just a lot of confidence out of Incorrect, which is nice to see. It looks like they're all aligned on the mission statement in this series right now because, again, earlier where challenges were a little bit too direct to the ball, a little bit too one-dimensional. It seemed like they were always a step behind. In this game 4, very different situation. They look like not only are their challenges cleaner defensively, but Jorby, like when it comes to just simply getting the ball out of your end, how much boost do you burn? They're holding on to their boost. They're making sure that once they're at the midfield, they can challenge if they need to, but they're not just burning to challenge the ball or to chase down a possession. They're taking their time. They're getting the ball back out. They're trusting each other to make a play upfield.
See that?
It's great.
That replay right there. Flitz and Wonder Mike double committed. But because they win the 50, Flitz goes down. Flitz rolls across the back wall. He gets a bump, and then Wonder Mike gets the score. So all the double commits that gave Gen.G 5 goals in game 3 gave them 2. Yeah, you see that? Thank you, production. Great callback here on the replay. Look, they double committed, and they got to that. Some people would call that luck, but you create your own luck in Rocket League, and I guess your double commits are right twice a day, something like that. Something clock broken.
A blind squirrel still
blind
drives
squirrel
twice a
finds
day.
the nut.
Yeah.
And I guess they can be nuts sometimes. I need Flitz to chill out a little bit, though. I don't know if they're going to win this game 5 if he keeps cutting and double committing, because he's behind every single double commit. I know I'm harping on this space, man.
No,
I'm tired of saying it. He's so good, and I need him to play better.
I can't get mad at you for harping on it when it was like it feels like it's every other play. We're not bashing Flitz at all. We're just saying, man, listen, there's been some double commits where it's a little questionable, buddy. But listen, First series of the day, we're going 5. It feels good to see it go Champions Field, and it's nice to see this series go back and forth, a game apiece every single time. Each team trading shots. Wonder Mike's been fantastic defensively. If Incorrect can shut down those double commits defensively and really keep up that pace at the midfield, really focus on not wasting boosts on errant challenges on their own side, they can take this series.
My eyes are on Chronic this game, held to 112 points in game number 4. See if he starts the scoring, but he does not. First shot just to pot one. Chronic has the midfield boost. Apparently Jack with the first look. First Killer has the corner boost. Chronic will still stay back on that third man. Wonder Mike was threatening a boost, but apparently Jack still has the ball. Chronic will go forward with him. He's ready for the ceiling touch, but can't get to it. Was unsure of the read at first and unsure of that challenge, and that approach was a bit slow, but apparently Jack has the ball and a good challenge. Incorrect took that advantage of Gen.G going back to the corner to refuel. They got a little bit of boost down to continue to hold here on defense.
The chat sentiment at the moment is Flitz double commits are the X factor. You know, you might be right. It has certainly worked out. Well, I don't want that to be the motto, but if that's what's required, maybe they'll get a little bit more of it. Toasty throwing it just dead center, allowing Wonder Mike to get a little cheeky upfield. Here comes Flitz. Toasty is wide open. Over First Killer. Great setup in space. Not pulling off the play. Trusting your teammates to feed you the ball. And already Incorrect striking first.
So Chronic had to win that 50. First Killer left back. I was looking at apparently Jack Cam, but he was the whole way downfield getting boost, trusting that Chronic would win that first touch. And like a bad caster, I didn't look at Chronic's 50. So, chat, I'm sorry. I can't tell you exactly what happened on Chronic's 50-50 or why he lost it, but he did. And there was nothing First Killer could do about it. Great shot,
Jack.
Toasty.
Uh-oh.
Apparently Jack what?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Where did he go?
Miss the ball. Don't backtrack into the play and then miss the ball. Make up your mind. Backboard. Flitz, we need a double commit, buddy. Things get a little scary. Now, listen, we talked a lot about what Incorrect have done well. For Gen.G, like, get back to that rhythmic offense through the corners and just taking boost away. That's what they did games 1, 2, and 3. They need to continue to steal resources from Incorrect because Incorrect's challenges have been much, much cleaner as this series has progressed.
That's inconsequential midfield boost steal there. First Killer had a full tank as he went up. He gets a demo, but Chronic's touch, I mean, he had that touch, something has to be better there from Chronic. You had about a million options. You had full boost, ball coming down, no one pressuring you. Sure, they're going to come and challenge you immediately, but surely you had something better than knock it up to the back wall and wait for them to clear it. Wonder Mike gets through again on the third, and he scoops it around Chronic as well. Too heavy, though. Apparently, Jack has a full boosted Chronic downfield. First tap, looking for 2. Oh, he missed it off the bar. First Killer on the support, and there's not much of it coming. Chronic has to leave the play. Apparently, Jack holding down the back line. First Killer coming up, but Incorrect are not letting them out of the corner, and Wonder Mike has a runaway ball. Forces the 50, a rocket. Falls right back out. Flitz takes the shot. First Killer diving back, and you kind of saw how that all melted away on Gen.G, and they're starting to feel this pressure.
Yeah, I'm interested. If Toasty, I'm sure he was thinking about the rebound, maybe coming back towards his Octane and then trying to flip it into the net. Instead, would have liked to see him rotate through the corner, grab that full boost, and then again, you're shutting down the defensive capabilities of Gen.G. But Wonder Mike might just go for the fake, place it underneath. Wonder Mike, you're insane. 2-0 with 1:52 on the clock. This kid's playing mind games, and First Killer had no idea how to respond.
Oh, First Killer, he tried to jump with pace. He was anticipating Wonder Mike flipping into that ball at pace, and you're right, Wonder Mike calls First Killer on it. First Killer jumps too far back. He has too much momentum carrying him into the net to slow down, and he just watches the ball roll in afterwards. And he actually had the speed to get Wonder Mike out of that ball, but he had a lot of respect for how fast Wonder Mike was moving and misjudged how quickly he needed to get behind the ball, and they're getting smacked in game 5. Flitz puts another one in. Yeah, double commit this, double commit that. This is just cool, easy, textbook Toasty to Flitz. No double commit needed.
Again, just good setup through the corner. Like, it's the confidence you get in space when you're connecting with your shots, when you're connecting with your teammates. The confidence goes a long way, and it did feel like there was just a mental block in games 1 and 2 for Incorrect to really start working on their challenges. Ever since then, they've held boost on the backboard. Wonder Mike's done a phenomenal job of not only playing goalkeeper, but also flying from the corner and making sure he challenges at a better angle than what his teammates are doing to get the ball through the midfield. Like, he's just done a really good job of keeping Gen.G on their back toes at all times, defensively and offensively, holding his boost until the last possible moment. This kid's really stepped up in this series. We've traded games back and forth in this one, but Incorrect in the last 3 have just been clear-cut away, the better team. And with a minute to go and a 3-goal lead, they are primed for a Game 5 victory and a very strong showing against Gen.G.
I just want to say, it's, you know, I know that a lot of you in chat, you Gen.G fans, you're feeling pretty bad right now. When you're saying you feel sad, but guys, this is the great part about league play being back, okay? It's not single round robin, it's double round robin. This is day 2 of 6. Gen.G have like, what, after today, they're going to have 12 more matches to play? They got plenty of time to figure it out. They'll have a whole week. They'll come back, and you know what, guys? I bet they're going to be looking just like your old Gen.G. Something tells me. I got a feel about it. You know, there's a certain thing about Gen.G. I don't know. They just tend to drop random games. I think they've actually lost it incorrect before in RLCS, funnily enough. But hey, you write them, we read them, and Gen.G writes in a Game 5 loss. Incorrect are really the ones to throw the Sharpie all over it, man, and paint it black.
Really, 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 really strong second half series from Incorrect. It looked excellent. Again, the challenge game, the 50 game, holding their boost, using it wisely on defense was excellent from this team. A decisive, necessary win. And I saw somebody in chat say, were Spaceman and Curly the problem? No, if the sample size was like 2 weeks, maybe for LG, but they went through 6 weeks, all round 5. They were the problem. Do not put this on us. Don't you even start. But let's talk a little bit about Incorrect, because man, pretty good resolve from the opening blows of that first game, right? You're down like 5-0, 5-1. It looks scary, but they slowly work back and just into the fundamentals, man. And if you're a young team, like if you're watching this, or you're just, how do we get better as a young team playing against pros? When you're starting to get beat, go back to the fundamentals. Focus on what you're fielding on the field, no pun intended. Work on your touches at midfield. Work on your 50s. Work on holding on your boost, not just challenging because you feel like you should challenge. Get that communication to be visibly noticeable on the field. They focused on their fundamentals. They got back to just clean Rocket League, Jorby, and it paid off. The offense opened up. They felt more confident. Everything else ate off that. They just did a really